Alright guys, welcome back. Another episode. Not sure where this one's going to go. Back in the hangar, fairly productive time of the day. It's 5 degrees, 9 o'clock in the morning. Coming into spring, so getting some good weather happening. Watch along, we'll see what we get up to this episode. Last episode, just to clarify, a few people asked, so the wing incidence 1.5 degrees, that's the spars. Now that I've got the ribs on, get my washing down, you will notice that the trailing edge is actually lower, like the chord line, if you like, is from the centre of the spar to the trailing edge. So then the spars are like this, but the rib itself, or the airfoil section, is on an angle as well. So you've probably got about 2.5 degrees incidence. Top and bottom are the same, and I got 2 degrees positive I'm starting with on the tail. The original, or the designer basically told me to sit it on all 4 1-inch standoffs, which gives you about 5 degrees positive, which seemed way too much to me, especially considering it's down elevator. I'd rather the thing want to climb than dive. So I've got 1 inch at the back, 1/4 inch at the front. Also, I touched on last video, yep, got these painted. Probably should put these away again. Put them aside, give myself a bit of room, but they come up really nice in that satin sort of finish, ready to go on. I'm contemplating lifting all this assembly up and get the undercarriage on, so I'm not building the wing down here on my knees. I do go home of a night and got the sore knees. All the joints are starting to ache. Complaining a bit, but we'll get the job done. All right, we've done ourselves a mischief. I'm on my second DeWalt drill. Now my first one, the first one of these drills I had, I don't know, did 2 bathroom renos, 3 veggie gardens, a carport extension. It built everything in this hangar here, including stuff it probably shouldn't have, like driving those tech screws into the wall. Built the whole cruiser, and it gave up the ghost. So it was really good. This one's number 2. Had to dig around and find the receipt last night. But in this digital age, you think that'll all be online. But anyway, the big green shop couldn't find it, Bunnings. So anyway, found the receipt, 2 years old. And the good people at DeWalt gave me a new drill. Actually, they didn't. I gave them some money and they gave me a drill. So I'm going to, I'll send this one back still, take it back today, keep the battery, and hopefully they can repair it, and this will replace the one at home. The one at home is the original drill that did all the work. It actually blows smoke and emits a brown smell when I use it, just for those odd jobs at home, when I do work at home, when I'm not building a Camel. So anyway, it's 10 or 14 day turnaround time, so I needed a drill to keep going. So got a new drill. Also, finally, this has been annoying me, my trusty old rivet gun. I just need a new adapter. It's been leaking. So fix that up today, just have a slight pause in play. All right, this area here is a bit of a concern. The front cabane comes up, flying wires, and the strut. And I need a rib here somewhere. So I've gone with half a rib. I'm just going to bite the bullet, put on half a rib, worried about, I don't know how I'm going to do this area when the covering comes down. I need a panel or something, and I also need to get in, think about do this bolt up, the clevis pin with a split pin. Yeah, I could probably split pin that, never to be seen again, and just do the turnbuckle up, the lock wire of the turnbuckle. So I probably need a big access panel here. Not sure what others have done. I'm Obviously I can't put the bottom rib on because it hits the turnbuckle. Same on the other side. So we're going with half a rib, and I'm introducing another issue, but I'll get to that at another time. So I'm just riveting on these brackets. These supplied rivets, we've got heaps of these ones, but because it's dual double wall thickness there, without the actual job itself, you're in a bit of trouble if you're using these rivets, I reckon. Especially where there's dual wall on the spar. So luckily I've got some Zenith rivets left over. They're a bit longer. But yeah, if you just blindly go along there with the supplied rivets, they're okay for just the sheet into the tube. The double wall thickness on the spar needs some longer rivets. Alright, so wing, tip, jig. Cut out my plywood, screwed it to the bench. I made 3 or 4 adjustments on the first one I've done. Now we're just going to wrap it around. Got 3 done. First one's a little bit overworked, but that'll just, you know, I can make them work. So that's the wing tips. That should be the same as that one. Alright, got the wing tips all done, nicely the same, all conforming to each other. Drawing my own plans on the table now on the brown paper. Another plan here for this will be the aileron wingtip. I've got to start thinking about the controls now in the wing before I do the wing leading edge sheeting. So I dragged out the hinges. So basically, if this was your wing spar and your aileron spar, has these brackets. I thought there'd be 4 to make the one hinge, but there's not. There's only enough to do. So one hinge would be like that. I don't like that. Whoever has deburred these, some of them have been ground down to paper thin. So you've only got one surface there. If that breaks away, the aileron's going to foul up. Also, the way that the kit manufacturer does it, he just bolts those 2 parts together with a nylock, and obviously just undoes it to get it to swivel. So I know I can hear everyone yelling at the screen, it needs to be a castellated nut with a split pin. Correct. The other issue I got with these brackets is, I'm not sure if you'll see it on the video, but the pilot holes, some of them are like, this is a good one, like a figure 8 pilot hole. It's had 2 holes in it. And then also they're different heights. So if you were to, obviously you could go through and pair them all up, but to me they should be all identical. I think you got 3 different heights there. So these hinges in the bin. Then the pulley system, the pulleys themselves, you can see there's a thick and a thin side, sort of been machined off center. Also I noticed when you sandwich it into this bracket, they're not flat. One side's concave, the other side's convex. So you've got a bump here and a hollow there. And once again, just to, if you tighten it up with the nylock nut, obviously the pulley won't spin. There's no bushing or anything. This is designed, if this is your main spar, it just has a 1/8" cable, and it's sort of just like the flying trapeze. Hangs nowhere according to the plans, but when you take the wings off, the tension's going to go. This will just slide down, twist around, hook up. Those 4 pulleys. We'll move on. Alright, a little nerve-wracking. Got the grinder. I'm going to cut this tube off and do my wingtip the way I think it would make it easier, which is with these extensions. I'm going to cut a certain amount off, stick this out on centre, gusset the wingtip, and then we build the spar later on. Let's do it. Well, that wasn't nerve-wracking, cutting the spar off. Woo! Finally got my 2" offcut that I always wanted. This would have been handy for the wing rib jig. Now I can, doesn't really matter how much I cut off. It's about 8 inches. So I can do the same to the other 3 now and zip this one off. Alright, lob the tips off, put the wing tip in there. A little wedge just holds that. And now at the back here, I've coped my tube and I've had it in there. 2 holes on centre. Becomes orientation specific now with that coping. Now I've just got my rib spacing. I'm going with my rivet spacing, 5 rivets, 40mm over that 8 inches. So there's 6.5 to the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just hole punch those, hopefully through the jig, and drill them. So my little extension is on there, a wingtip. A little bit of pressure there, which is good, because what I'm thinking is I want the wingtip pushing out against the covering. So I've got about 2 inches of flex there. That'll be there. The coping's got to be on an angle now. I've got the coping square. So that gap there is about 1/4 inch, which tells me I've got to take about 1/4 inch off this front edge. I'll do that. And then we can probably mount the front. So all my centre lines sort of has to be level. Looking good. Because I've got them, I had the Zenith 5/32 rivets. I've just upsized that because I'm going through 3 thicknesses. Got that clecoed, obviously the black textures just so I see the scratches. And just one other check, I guess. I made up a bit of bolster. Flex that in there. This is 8 inches. And I can hold it and the camera, you get where I'm going. I'm back to the 8 inches. Doesn't really matter, sort of roughly back to where it was, which, like everything, as long as I can reproduce it. So that's good. It'll go on there nicely, and that's my wingtip. This will be cut off. Be cut off flush here. And then what happens eventually, well, the main reason I've done that Let's see if it works. Big straight edge, that's what I had handy. What's going to happen now, the spar is going to be on top of this rib and come down to the wingtip, and it should, well, it just touches. That's okay, we can work with that. So our spar cap, which is an L angle, we'll manipulate that and take some of that tube off if I need to, or take some, you know, put a half moon in the cap strip. So what I'm getting at is a spar, which is, well, it's not really a spar, it's just capping. Once I take the aileron out, I'll make a box section, which will be straight here, get to that last rib, it'll kink down, and it tapers down to our 3/4 inch tube. That's why I cut that 8 inches off. Going well, happy with that. And now we'll make some gusset plates for the tip. Here's the template for the gusset. See, I'll just make a nice gusset to go on there. I might even just make them triangles rather than cut the semicircle. Triangle would be more efficient use of the material, because you get 2 out of a square as opposed to doing a radius. So top and bottom, and there'll be our wingtips. 3 to go. Right, I've got 10 inches, so I'm going to poke 10 inches in. And so I've marked my 10-inch line. I just came back it was a square actually, like a steel ruler edge. Doesn't really matter, but plenty of edge distance. Now I'm going to run a board across and score centre line. That'll give me those 2 locations. You sort of get the first hole free. So I'll just drill this hole in this end and cleco it. Look through here, find centre, and drill this in. Just a straight edge to simulate the bench top, and scratch centre, and try and scratch centre. Boom. Right, so the first one's a gimme. Get it in, get it clecoed. Now I'm going to score this, then I'll pull it out, find centre on the tube. So this will just give me a vertical line, if you like, where it intersects centre. I'll drill it on the bench, bring it back, and it should all cleco together. Clecoed. Right, now we've got evenly spaced holes, another 3. Have to be careful to remember here, I've got leading edge sheeting to go on. So how are we going to do that? I'm not sure. So I might as well use the leading edge sheeting. Might as well utilise these rivets, well I have to go through the leading edge sheeting as well as the spar and into that tube. Just something more to think about. So leading edge sheeting comes right over, comes down past halfway, with a little fold on it, and we'll rivet it on all the way along the leading edge. Might have to leave these clecoed for now. We'll see how we go. Not sure if I explained how that wingtip was meant to go. This is on the tail plane, like the bear claw or whatever you want to call it, where you drill a hole, slit the tube, and you just basically bash everything down with a hammer. So that's why I've gone with this option. I may have covered it before, or I may have just thought it. I didn't want to bash that down, especially with the wing just up here floating in the air. That's why I've gone this way. Now you're probably thinking, you know, that looks a bit weak, but just bear with me because we're going to box this in. So it's going to have a C-section. So one C-section faces forward, C-section faces back, but this bit will be tapered to the tip. So a triangle and then a flat to box out the aileron section. I just basically, if it squeaks, I oil it. If it wobbles, I tighten it. And if it's cracked, well, I'll throw it out. So that's worked so far. All right, starting to take shape. So you see that'll just flex into there. I'll gusset this, and that's our wingtip. Nice continual curve. Then the aileron will come around the aileron tip. Now I'm not sure These parts are supplied. There's my radius on the board, but there's, you know, it's pretty tough just to bend something without any leverage on it. We'll give it a go, but I think I've got some stock here, so but that'll get smaller as I go. So the first one might be okay. See how we go with the last one. I've also got to bend up. I think I'll check the plans of the full size I've got over there. I've got to scallop this out so you can get in. So this will go. If you remember back, this rib was cracked. So good use there because it's going to get cut off. I can either do a square or a trapezium shape, or I think half moon is going to be easier, but we'll wait and see on that. 4 more wingtips to go. Sorry, 3 more. 3 more wingtips. Trailing edge, put the trailing edge on. Going to think about the pulleys. So a wire runs from the top of the aileron in through the skin, 90 degrees around a pulley, 2 joiners so I can get the wing off, disconnect the cable, comes back out to potentially this rib. Once again, the plans aren't really specific on the length of the aileron. I think it's the root of the aileron is here, so why not use this strength area, run a pulley out to the control horn, which will be on this trailing edge rib here in the aileron. And then a connecting rod comes down, off we go. See how we go with that. Just takes time. So got the gusset on. I was clever this time. I did the 2 gussets on top, then separated them, and then I had the one for the underneath already made. So we're locked in. Pull it apart, deburr, clean it all up, clean off all the texture. Then I'm going to zip this off with the angle grinder. I've got a little bit of leeway to cut that off, like a blade thickness, I guess, which is fine. Not sure about these edges. I might tap them around. I've also got I think I'll rivet it, but I'm not sure how the spar's going to work. Anyway, it's not hard to pull a rivet out, so we'll get it on and see how it looks. Alright guys, there you go. Finished one tip. I think I've just signed off about 400 hours and I'm still behind what the instruction video did in 4 days, I think, but anyway. Here's the wingtip. Got it riveted at the back, gusseted on, I rolled the edges around. I've still got to box all this in, like I keep saying, and front's just clecoed on. One wingtip. It's looking really nice. All in one piece. The wing at the top. So from here, I think trailing edge, I'll finish the wingtips. I'll do all 4 wingtips. Trailing edge, leading edge sheeting, get the ailerons in and fitted and work out how that's going to work. I run a cable from the top left aileron to the top right aileron with 2 joins. The joiners are so I can get the wing on and off. And we'll do it all again on the bottom wings. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.